What if I told you that there are 7 powerful habits that you can do starting today that are simple and easy that help raise your vibration and promote your spiritual growth? The first habit, having a regular grounding practice. This is one of the easiest and simplest things you can do to raise your vibration and to increase your spiritual growth. Grounding helps regulate your nervous system, it improves your focus and mood, it aligns you to earth energy, and strengthens your spiritual awareness. Hear me out. If you're in your office and you've been fielding phone call after phone call or doing email after email, or you're just at home and your kids are like, Mom, doing this, doing that, and you're just feeling so overstimulated, it allows you to reduce the amount of cortisol and adrenaline that are currently running in your body, and it allows you to just bring yourself to a more centered and peaceful state. So when I'm saying grounding, I don't necessarily mean that you have to go outside barefooted and spend 5 minutes walking grass. I mean, if you could do that, that's great. Don't get me wrong. It's probably the best way to ground. But grounding is a lot of things, and it can be a lot simpler than that. So the simple forms of grounding, giving yourself a few deep breaths and just visualizing your body releasing all the tension and all the stress and putting roots from your feet into the earth. That simple visualization is enough to help you just relax, release, and to be able to move forward. Using crystals. This is another very simple and easy grounding technique. It's one of those things where science has already proven that rocks and crystals have their own vibration. And tiger's eye is one of those that has a very grounding energy. So for me, it's when I do feel spacey, when I do feel flustered, when I do feel all over the place, I will grab my tiger's eye and I will just allow myself to lean into its frequency, to lean into its energy. Other stones that are good for that, any black stones. So like obsidian, onyx, jets, they're all great for grounding. Another simple thing that you can do, drink some hot tea. If you don't like tea, hot cocoa. I would say coffee, but coffee itself is not grounding. The caffeine is going to up our heart rate, and what we want to do right now is slow our heart rate. We want to slow it down and we want to get those breaths. Teas that help ground you, there's chamomile tea, mint tea, any type of herbal tea, anything that you drink that's going to help you take some deep breaths. That's the more important thing. The type of tea that you drink is just the extra little sprinkles on the side kind of deal. Grounding is important, but you need all 7 habits in order for you to really raise that vibration and get the full amount of growth that you can maximize in the quickest amount of time. Now we're going to talk about journaling. You want to journal with intent. The first type of journaling with intent is to journal for manifestation. When we're journaling for manifestation, you're saying stuff as you already have it. Now, I'm sure you've heard this before, but how many times do you write it? Be as specific as you can be, down to the nitty-gritty detail. The more specific you are, the more you're getting into the state of being, the highest level of vibration that we can naturally get to. So if you're in a state of being, you're not thinking about what you want or what you don't have. You're actually thinking about what it is that you have, and that tells the universe, hey, I'm willing to do this, so let's make it happen. The next type of journaling with intent is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the biggest things that we can do to help change our outlook. So when you're journaling with gratitude, you're journaling just to have a gratitude journal. This really isn't complicated. You're writing about all the things that you're thankful for that you have. Now, a gratitude journal is something that you would be wanting to do on a regular basis. This isn't like a one and done thing. This is a regular thing. The point of a gratitude journal is to help you realize all the things that you do have to help take you out of that lack mindset. The more you focus on what you have, the more you receive. The more if you focus on lack, the more you lose. Now, this last way to journal with intent to raise your vibration is probably the most challenging, but the most beneficial. And what do I mean by that? We're focusing on the positive for the day. Why is this important? This is that reinforcement that I was talking about with gratitude. If we focus on the good things that happen, then we're going to receive more good things. If we focus on the negative things, we're going to receive more negative things. So when we're journaling to switch our view from negative to positive, this is really important to understand. This isn't trying to put a positive spin on a bad situation. If, you slip and fell on the ice and you hurt your back, yeah, you slip and fell on the ice and you hurt your back. I'm not trying to say that was for a good thing. What I'm trying to say is, instead of just focusing on that, Try to remember some of the good things that happened in a day. Now I'm going to talk about free writing. So free writing helps us to regulate our emotions, to recognize our emotions, so that way when we're having our emotions, we can handle them better, and our emotions can go from being responsive to where we can be proactive in understanding what's going to happen and be prepared for it. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, this isn't going to help. When we free write, if we're doing it correctly, it's our subconscious that's just coming out and exploding all over paper. If you're not used to being honest with yourself, this is good practice. So even if you see yourself writing down something that was a partial truth or even a complete lie, scratch it out and be like, I don't know why I said that, and then write the truth. In the middle of free writing, that's okay. Why does this make a difference? Because if we keep all this inside of us, it's literally just bogging you down. It's holding you down. Versus you verbally getting it out onto pieces of paper and journaling, it's literally allowing you to raise up and release. As you know, journaling is fundamental to your spiritual growth, but so is this next habit of meditation. And this time I am talking about still meditation. I know, I'm throwing out my normal workbook and I'm giving you guys the stuff that you really need to hear this time. You do need to have a place that you typically always meditate at. You need to have a time frame of 5 to 10 minutes specifically set aside. This one is a practice. This is something that you have to do over and over and over again in order to do it and feel comfortable in it. I didn't say get good at it. I said to feel comfortable in it. Even when you're meditating with intent, you're probably going to feel like you're doing it wrong. Here's the thing. As long as you're being consistent and doing it on a regular basis, it's right for you. That is you actively meditating to raise your vibration, to actively connect with spirit, and that is you doing what you need to do to be in the practice of meditation in the still form. Now that we talked about the still form, let's cover the active form. Active meditation is the more subtle. It'll raise your vibration. It'll help you ground. It will, give you that easiness of, yes, my vibration is going to raise a little bit. And over time, it's going to make a big difference versus that still meditation is going to just keep stepping you. It's going to be like steps or a ladder, and it's going to keep promoting you that way. Now, meditation is important, but there's still some missing elements we need to talk about. Expression and creation are one of the biggest things that we can do to raise our frequency. Science has already proven that if we are in a creative space, our brain is being used in a way that is not used on a regular basis throughout our normal day. What's important about this is when we're in a creative space, our brain is actually coming together and both hemispheres are working at the same time in union with each other. Why is that important? Because that's you literally becoming one. That's you becoming whole. That is your body working with itself to create itself back into its whole state. And that is the highest vibration you can be, wholeness and oneness. So if we're in a creative state, we're actually physically doing something that's going to just raise your vibration by nature of its, effect. Now, creative state doesn't just have to be artistic. Now, yes, there's painting, there's coloring, there's molding clay, there's crochet. Being creative can look like this. It can be you, creating a video. It can be you creating a space. It can be you writing for creative purposes, making a story, blogging, something along the lines of you doing it for creation purposes. Even cooking and baking is creating. I'm not talking about the cooking that you do every day to make your family alive or to keep your family alive. I am talking about you baking for the purpose of trying something new or that brings you joy. I'm talking about cooking for the purpose of, like for Thanksgiving. I love making Thanksgiving dinner. I love hosting because I get to make things I don't make on a regular basis and I make it all from scratch. So Thanksgiving dinner is a cooking that I do for fun and joy. That's me being creative. Cooking when I'm cooking for dinner tonight, that's not creative. That's just me sustaining my life. So understand too that cooking and baking do have creative properties to them. It's the intent behind it, though, that makes the difference. Now, grounding, journaling, meditation, and self-expression are all very important habits, but they are nothing compared to these next 3 habits that are just going to accelerate your spiritual growth and raise your vibration on a permanent way. Having a daily ritual is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. Now, your daily ritual does not have to be overly complicated, and it does not have to involve all 4 things that we've already talked about. But what it does have to be is it has to be consistent and it has to be something that is easy for you to do on a regular basis. Now, when I say having a daily practice, and I'm really emphasizing how important it is, don't start big. I'm not asking you to make any major life changes. Give yourselves like 10 minutes to yourself a day. If that's your daily practice, that is beautiful. That's a good place to start. And your daily practice doesn't necessarily have to be that you journal every day like it is mine. Maybe one day you journal. Maybe one day you do, a random expression. Maybe one day you meditate. As long as you're consistent in giving yourself that 10 minutes, it doesn't matter that you're switching it up constantly. What matters is that you're being consistent and that it's happening daily. What is the regular thing of the 4 things that I've already talked about with the 4 habits that you can start doing on a regular basis? In the comments, let me know what it is. Tell me what your regular practice is going to look at so that way we can work together and we can hold each other accountable, because this community is here to help each other. Now, having a daily practice does make a huge difference, but it's not enough by itself. You need to also add in movements. Why is movement huge? It helps to provide the chemicals in your brain that help regulate you. So, movement and moving around to release stagnant energy is not just a bunch of woo stuff. Science has already proven that movement is important. Now, here's the thing. You're like, Kirsten, I already have a daily practice. I'm already supposed to do something creative, and now you want me to add movement? Yeah. I literally, including your daily practice, want you to add regular movement to your day. It can be 5 to 10 minutes, but still find a way to do some regular movement. Your movement cannot include just doing chores. That sounds great in theory, but that's not the same. I need you to move for just the purpose of moving. I don't need you to move because you have to do chores, you have to run after the kids. It's not the same. We're moving to lower our stress levels. We're moving to reduce the cortisol in our body. And we're moving to, regulate our brains and to get the chemicals and the hormones in a state that help us out. So, movement for the sake of movement only, and not movement because it's something that you need to do to go about your daily day. All the habits that I've said so far are amazing, but this last one is the game changer. This last one is the most important one if you really want to get that accelerated spiritual growth and you want to raise your vibration. And this one is accountability. You can use a habit tracker. There's plenty of journals, there's plenty of planners that have habit trackers in them. And you can just do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening, you can write in your phone whatever it is that you did, whatever habits or daily practices you want to add, and that helps you see how consistent you're being. If that's not the way you want to do it, there's also plenty of apps out there. Find an app that has, that works for you. There is plenty of habit tracking apps out there that you can find the one that fits you. Another way to be accountable is to have a friend that is willing to do this and that is open with it. Don't force this on a friend who's uncomfortable, because if you force this on a friend who's uncomfortable, it's not going to work well for you. Another way to find accountability is through a community. There are so many Facebook groups. There are so many just groups in general on the internet that are spiritually like-minded people. I have my own Facebook page, Water's Edge Tarot. Feel free to join it. The link's in the description. But I have a community full of people that are always supportive and always willing to help each other. And when, you feel lost and you feel alone, if this is something that you're doing solo and you really have no one else you can talk to, go into those community groups, ask questions, participate. Get conversations going, join conversations, and learn as much as you can. Because here's a big thing. Spirituality and spiritual growth is personal. It's your own thing, but it's nice to be able to talk to other people and hear them say, hey, I went through that same thing, or hey, this is something I'm struggling with too. It's nice to have that community. And the more you have that community, the more you can understand kind of where you're at your own spiritual growth. Another way for you to have accountability is by having a spiritual coach. Like myself, I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm not just saying this for advertisement, but the point is, it's one of those things where a spiritual life coach has already gone through all of this. Coach is also going to help you get through those awkward phases where you feel uncomfortable and you're seeing your identity shift because you are growing. And as you grow, there's just these awkward points where you're just like, who am I? Accountability is a big part of this. Find someone who can hold you accountable, whether it be a friend, whether it be a community, whether it be a coach. Find someone that can help you be accountable. If these habits resonate with you, hit the like button and subscribe for more tools and tricks on how to accelerate your spiritual growth. And again, in the comments below, please let me know what your new daily routine is going to look like and how you're going to hold yourself accountable. This community is here to help you so you don't have to feel so alone. And if you're looking for something to help you figure out how to meditate and what meditation practices are best for you, there's a video right here for you.